Beryl Gilroy, an experienced teacher, left British Ghana in 1952 to come to London. She was responding to calls from Britain to come and join the health and education services. Beryl became one of Britain's first black female head teachers, leading Beckford School in West Hampstead between 1969 and 1982. To learn more about Beryl's story, I've come to the London Metropolitan Archives to talk with Adele Ward. So, Adele, what was Beryl's experience like coming to the UK in the 1950s to teach?
Well, in her autobiography, Black Teacher, she describes how she was disappointed at first because she kept getting turned down for interviews purely on account of her being black. And in fact, she had to go into mundane work like clerical work, and she even worked as a lady's maid. Eventually, the education division did find her work in a primary school that was prepared to accept her. It was a Catholic school in Bethnal Green. When she got that work, she describes in her autobiography how the children, first of all, found her a great novelty, but they did get used to her quite quickly. Unfortunately, she did continue to encounter racism, including from her colleagues and other teachers. One of those teachers, in fact, questioned her cleanliness and even showed concerns that she might bring tropical diseases into the school. In fact, in her autobiography, she writes, "It was as if I was going into a boxing ring where any breach in the defence could put me flat on my back. I was one black among a gaggle of whites, depending on their approval, wondering about their sincerity, suspicious of any attempts to make a friend of me. I always had to think of the West Indians who were to come and be teachers in the future. I was a pioneer, an ambassador, and patronising words wounded me deeply, since all I wanted was to be left alone to do my job without feeling I was always being watched, assessed, measured and compared."
And yet Beryl persevered and became a head teacher. Can you tell me a bit more about that part of her life?
Yes, after a career break to have her and bring up her own children, Beryl returned to full-time teaching in 1965. She found a great difference. She was at an inner London school. There was a much greater proportion of children from immigrant families. There were also more Black and Asian teachers who were in demand because of staff shortages. She also found that the black teachers were much less willing to take second-hand treatment, and she was promoted to deputy head. After that, she decided to go for head teacher positions. She did find a head teacher position at Beckford Primary School, which was named after the former mayor of London, who incidentally had profited from the trade in enslaved people. She had to overcome assumptions that she'd been promoted as some kind of affirmative action, but she found that the black parents were really pleased she'd come to work in the school, and they gave her their trust, respect and love.
And so what can visitors find here at the London Metropolitan Archives about Beryl's life and career?
There's actually a wealth of information. This is just some of it here. There is the Bogle Louverture book, Black Teacher, her autobiography. It was first published by Cassell in 1976. Bogle Louverture brought out this edition, and it's also been brought out more recently by Faber, and with a foreword by the Booker Prize winner Bernardine Evaristo, so it's still considered very important. And more personally, it's always lovely to see a photo of someone, so there's Beryl. And what I like to find in an archive are letters, and these are letters from Beryl to Jessica Huntley, her editor and publisher at Bogle Louverture. Other things we have here, this is very interesting, unusual to find this. This is the reader's report, where the publisher sent the book out to a reader to get feedback for Beryl. So that's very personal and really interesting what they found. And this is her publisher's contract for the book. Unusual to find this. This is a proof copy of the book with the contents and various things marked up. The proof copy she would have checked. On a slightly different tangent, this is a pamphlet from the Caribbean Teachers Association. They were campaigning to get more black teachers in schools, and it also goes into the importance of materials that were relevant to black children as they were underrepresented, and how important that is for helping those children to do their best in school.
That's amazing. Thank you for showing me these amazing documents.